Welcome to Vertical Football, and this is the Blue Box. Yeah, this is a show where we talk all things Chelsea. Yeah, guys, I'm so glad to be back. I've missed you guys a lot. It's been a while. I sat down on this chair to discuss football and talk about this game that we love so much. Yeah, I had to go out for some personal reasons, and there are some things that I cannot neglect. I had to fix them, but I'm back fully fit. Yeah, I'm back like Eden Hazard, who is ready to play a final. Yeah, so in this one, we want to do a quick discussion and let's just talk about football, but in context, let's talk about Chelsea and let's focus on the transfer window. Yeah, the transfer news. Yeah, we have been having a whole lot of link up, link on, link out, linking, all of these kind of things. And I think this season has been better, or the end of this season has been better, because if you compare it to previous seasons, that's last 2 seasons, last 3 seasons, even last season, you would get to see that the noise and the linking of players to Chelsea has reduced a whole lot, because at those points in time, you just get, there is one 19-year-old boy that has been linked to Chelsea and Chelsea is intensifying the race to get this guy. There is one 20-year-old boy that has been linked to Chelsea and Chelsea is dragging him with Real Madrid and is the next superstar and wonder kid. There is a whole lot of news flying out here and there about players being linked to Chelsea. But you look at this season, it's kind of like everywhere is calm. And I think 2 of the major reasons why I think that is happening is, number one, we have a manager now, and we have spoken about this team's time without number, that when you have a manager, it's not just the club's responsibility alone now to decide who comes in and who goes out. It's now in the conjunction of the manager and the board to decide who they want to be a part of the squad and who they are looking at to go out and who they are looking at to bring in. So it's like a collective decision from different parties now. So I think that's one of the things that reduces it. And the second thing is that we all know, let's not forget that we are under strict rules following the Premier League sanction, that we need to be very careful in the way we go about our transfers in the next 2 seasons. So everybody needs to be very careful in anything that they are doing. So I think those are the 2 major reasons why it's kind of calm when it comes to transfer in the club. Yeah, so but still yet they are linking here and there, and players we are hearing now that wants to leave the club. So let's just speak about these things and let's just air our thoughts about what's going on at Chelsea in respect to transfer. I think we should talk about the transfer out first. 2 major talk about players that are willing to leave Chelsea is in Cucurella and Enzo Fernandez. And I've said this thing in one of the contents that I made at one point. I don't know if I foresee it coming, but I think it's just one of the logical things that when you sit down and put 1, 2, 3 together, you can project this day. If it eventually happen, it's something that you can say, I saw it coming. I was just not 100% sure that it was going to happen, but I saw it coming. Yeah, because we have gone through some levels of inconsistencies, and these kind of players are high caliber players in the person of Enzo Fernandez, in the person of Marc Cucurella. And Marc Cucurella is getting close to the end of his peak period, where there is a tendency that if he clocks some particular age, Chelsea will be looking for some replacements, and that might jeopardize his playing career or his playing time at the club. And you know what that means. If he has not achieved what he thinks at his level and the quality that he has to be able to achieve, that will be a very sad story for him. And now he's getting linked to club like Barcelona. He's getting linked to club like Atletico Madrid. I know though that Atletico Madrid part, if Atletico Madrid is the strongest candidate, if I was Cucurella, I wouldn't go, because I think Chelsea has a higher chance to win you silverwares than Atletico Madrid. But if it's the like of Real Madrid, if it is like of Barcelona, I think it should just be the most logical thing to say, all right, it should go. Yeah, if you are speaking now, this is not me speaking like a Chelsea fan. This is me looking at it from Cucurella's shoe. Because if we have not been stable in this season, in the last 3-4 seasons, and coming into this particular season, You are still looking at you're not playing in the Champions League. Oh, we are bringing in a new coach. Maybe we'll have another 1 year to rebuild and get ourselves in place before we know that we want to go and start winning trophies. If Cucurella is maybe of the age of maybe 27, 28, like you will be thinking about all these things. Oh, is it when I get to 30, that's when I want to start saying I want to run for trophies and all of those kind of things. So we want to put those players also into consideration. But I will be very honest, if it is Atletico Madrid that is a stronger candidate, I just plead that the guy should not go. Because I think Chelsea has a higher probability to win silverware compared to the probability that Atletico has. And if we are looking at how we affect Chelsea, let's now assume that Cucurella leaves. What does that mean for Chelsea? I think firstly, we have to look at it from the financial part of it. We have to be able to cash in on Cucurella. We have to be able to cash in on Cucurella. He's a very good player. He's a top player. And I think if you look at, let's say from the Premier League, I think he starts in any club in the Premier League. Yeah, Cucurella as a left back. I think in Man City he starts. I think he starts in Manchester United, in Arsenal. I think he beats everybody in that space. In Tottenham, in Liverpool. I think Cucurella starts in all teams in the Premier League. So I think he's top level player. So if we are selling that kind of a player, well, I think we should be making money. At least our starting point should be 60 million. At least it should be 60 million. And anybody that wants to come in, then we negotiate from that threshold. So financially, I think we should be cashing in on Cucurella if he has actually made up his mind to go. And now looking at who replaces him, I think one of the reasons why Chelsea is now eager or open to the idea that you want to let Cucurella leave is the fact that somebody like Ato is showing signs that he can take up that role very much like Cucurella would do. Because you're looking at the Ato guy from his defensive point of view, I think he's doing really well. I think when Cucurella does not start a match, when you use Ato in that position, defensive wise, I don't think you look at it and you're looking at a very big jump. Though Cucurella can be very nasty, his 1v1 is top level, there are a whole lot of things, he understands space, he roams very well. I think he brings a whole lot into the game defensively, but when you look at the way Ato is going, and I think Ato is still very young, 19, 20 thereabouts, if he's doing that thing at the level that Cucurella can do, I think that's one of the relief that Chelsea has, that all right, if we let this guy go, we have somebody who can play that position. And even in the offensive part of the game, I would say as Ato progresses in this game, as it becomes better per day, per week, per month, per season, per year, I think he can bring more than what Cucurella brings in the offensive parts of the game. And you look at the versatility of somebody like Ato is, firstly, he can play as a left centre back, or you can play as a centre back, wherever where you want to put him. He can play as a left back. So he has the versatility. When it comes to versatility, I think he brings more. So I think when you're looking at all those things holistically, you're looking like, all right, we have somebody that will be able to fit into that shoe if we let this guy go. But I think if Cucurella goes and Ato takes the position, then you need to have a supplement, because you would not want to work this particular one out. And even speaking less about working out, because you play only one, you're playing Premier League, Carabao and FA Cup, so it's basically like one match per week until the league competition starts. But still yet you want somebody who, in case of red cards, in case of injuries, you want somebody who will be able to come in and fill that position. And those are one of my concerns. Like I have always said, I said, because of the model that Chelsea is running, whenever you sell a top player from the club, one of the issues is that we don't have a model that wants to go and sign another top level player. We want to go and sign a young one who will grow to become like that top level player. And I think that's one of the things that I worry about, because if Ato takes that position, you will not go and sign a 24-year-old to come and be a bench for Ato who is 19, 20. You want to sign a younger one who can be groomed to become somebody like who just left or who is there at this point in time. So I worry about that part. But I think if Cucurella leaves, I think we are still in a safe hand in Ato. We just need to add some recruitment to make sure that that place is not void. If when Ato steps on, we're taking the backup. Yeah, so that's my viewpoint about Cucurella, and I think we need to cash in very much on Cucurella. Yeah. Now speaking about Enzo Fernandez, this is a player I don't want to leave the club. In all honesty, I know there are a whole lot of talks here and there about it's not worth the money. I don't think he's living up to the expectations. But I bet you this guy brings a lot into this club. Enzo Fernandez brings a lot into this club because you're looking at the position of a central midfielder in the world football now. You need somebody who is an engine. And when you're speaking about central midfielders, you need, coupled with engine, you need tactical ability, you need technical ability. And I think when you're ticking these three boxes, I think Enzo Fernandez ticks those boxes for you and also is very much available. So you look at the player who can give you the running part of the game when you know, all right, there is a whole lot of things going on here. Who is that guy who can cover the ground? Who you can see on the left-hand side, you can see on the right-hand side, you can see in the central channel covering to and fro, box to box. Enzo Fernandez is always there for you. When we're talking about the tactical part of the game, I think the guy thrives so much. He understands tactics. He understands space, he's aware, he knows when to go into a particular space, he knows when to come out of that space, he knows when to drag a player out so that another player can get the movement. Like, his tactical awareness is good, and he's also a technical player. He's good on the ball. When he touches the ball, you know this is not a person who is scared to have the ball. He wants the ball because, you know, his creative ability is also, like I've always said, I think top 3, top 4, or yeah, let's say top 4 most creative guy in the club. I think Enzo Fernandez walks into that place easily. If not top 3, maybe the 4th. Maybe we'll put somebody like Palma. You look like João Pedro, Estevao. I think Enzo Fernandez goes into top 4 most creative player at Chelsea. So you are looking at all of these things combined. I don't think that is a caliber of player that you want to lose. And coupled with the fact that he's a player that has just gotten into his prime period, into his peak period. You want to keep such a player. You don't want to be breeding a player from 22 and then you breed them into their prime and then you are so eager to sell. It reduces the quality of the squad. So for me, I think I want Enzo Fernandez to stay at the club. I think we're looking at the system that Xabi Alonso wants to play. I think he will do very well. Partnering with Moises Caicedo as the double pivot and even being the deep line playmaker who becomes the first face receiver of the ball and then start distributing either by short passes or long passes to the least player to run in behind or play over the defensive line. There are a whole lot of things that this guy will bring into the club. And even if he does not play in that part, he's somebody that we can play on the right hand side of a 10, like playing alongside Kopama, right-hand side, left-hand side as Enzo Fernandez and right-hand side as Kopama, because of his awareness, because of his being able to play in tight spaces, being able to find passes in tight spaces. I think Enzo Fernandez thrives in any system. In Chelsea's system, I think is superb. In the way Xabi Alonso wants to play, I think he's superb. I just hope, and I hope that Xabi Alonso can convince him that he should stay at the club and play. But I think one of the things that would worry us a little bit is his finance, and also maybe, and that's the viewpoint I'm looking at. Maybe Xabi Alonso might not be pleased with his character. And the reason why I said Xabi Alonso might not be pleased with Enzo Fernandez's character is given the experience that he had at Real Madrid. Having players who talk, having players who can infect the mind of the other players, having players who have this kind of aura on other players, and even in the pitch, on the pitch, and even on fans, and all of these kind of things. If you have such a player and you have had experience of having bad relationships or bad issues with such kind of players in your previous workplace, I think it is just a human thing to bring that trauma into this new place. So I would not be surprised if Enzo Fernandez leaves Chelsea and Xabi Alonso is not worried about it, because you look at the character side of these things and you're like, maybe he just wants a place where, let all this kind of character go and let me have somebody who I know they are not so much of a big talker or somebody who can infest the mind of the other guys, and then let me just have a safe space where I am in charge and I know I am ultimately in charge of my squad. And this is just an assumption, but we need to be putting two together to make four. I think this is just something that we need to look at. And also from the financial standpoint, is it will take a lot for us to sell Enzo Fernandez at a profit. Yeah. Though we are almost finished, we are almost at the end of his amortization period. I think it should be, I think we are 35 million short according to the report that I got. Yeah, we are 35 million short of finishing his amortization fee. So if we are going to sell him, we need to be selling at least more than what we bought. So if we bought him for 105 million, we need to be selling at least 115. And I would not be. It's just the logical thing to do. You don't want to sell and lose. You want to sell and gain. Given the fact that we are even under the PSR, the FFP, we need to be very careful in the way we go about finance. So anybody that is leaving the club and that is a high value player, you need to be cashing in on them, irrespective of how much the gain is. You don't want to sell any player at a loss. So that's one of the things that I am worried about, because you know how Madrid can be with their things. You know how Madrid can be with their things. They want to get the best players, but they want to get them at the least possible amount. Yeah, at the least possible amount. But I think that's not going to be the case. I think Chelsea has stood their standpoints and they have spoken about it. This is how much we are going to sell. Nothing less. Anything more we will accept, but nothing less. And I think I like that. Now, let's talk about the incomings and the players that are linked to Chelsea. I think first one, Valentin Barco. Valentin Barco is a player that I admire so much. I like the guy. I like the way he plays. I like his style of football. I think one of the things I'm very much impressed in is this versatility. Speaking about his versatility, he's majorly a left back, but a left back who plays into the inverted role. And as time evolves over it, he has become somebody who can majorly play as a defensive midfielder and also as a building midfielder. That's like a deep line playmaker. So he brings a whole lot, and that's not the end of it. He's somebody who you can use as a central midfielder. And if you are looking at even in the Alonso's kind of team, he's somebody that you can play as a left wing back who can operate that left channel to and fro, attack and defense, can do that for you. So I think Valentin Barco, and he's still young. I think there are a whole lot of things that are positive from Valentin Barco. Let's just look at the profile. He's a very young player, got him at a very good amount. I think Chelsea initially knew the plan. They bought him to Strasbourg, given the fact that they wanted to breed him from that place, then send him into the Chelsea squad. And as I've spoken so much, I know a whole lot of people will not be happy about it. That, who is Valentin Barco? Is that what we are saying? We are going to go and get the experienced player and all of those kind of things. But one of the things that I use as an argument towards such cases, my base point is that when you are playing in a system-based team, profile is what you want. You want to be very heavy on profile. As much as you want the best players, you want to be so heavy on getting the right profile. And when we are talking about profile, I think Valentin Barco is the profile. So if you are looking at, okay, let's say somebody like Cucurella leaves the club, Valentin Barco is somebody who you can slot in easily to play as a left wing back for you. Yeah, and you play that game very much because, like you always know, if you look at him replicating the Grimaldo's profile at Leverkusen at Chelsea, you know that this is a player that can do that for you so easily. So he's somebody who, when he gets the ball, is comfortable on the ball and he can progress the ball. And when I say he can progress the ball, I mean he can progress the ball by passes, he can progress the ball by carries. And even that carry of a thing is something that when you can progress the ball by carry, there is an isolated metric. So if you want to understand the full context of carrying the ball, successfully, you need to be a good dribbler coupled with it. So there are some times where you carry the ball, but because you are not so good with dribble, you just go on, carry it, and then you lose it to the opponent. But the point is, with this boy, as much as he's carrying the ball, you know that he also has the skill sets to dribble past the player in very easy way and get forward and get something out of the carrying. And I think those are the two metrics that you need to combine together to know who are the best progressive carriers of the ball. And I think that's one of the things that we rated Eden Hazard for the most over many other players, because there's another kind of carry is he moves the ball, and not just moves it alone, he moves it by dribbling past the obstacle so that he gets into the final third. And if he is not scoring a goal, he's making an assist, or he's making a pre-assist, or even having a shot on target. So when he goes through these players, he can create something out of it. I think Valentin Barco brings that. Not in the Hazard's level, but when you look at what he can do, he can dribble past player and also carry it into the offensive part of the game, and then either drop a pre-assist or drop an assist or find the back of the net himself. So I think when it comes to on-the-ball activity, I think we have gotten ourselves a gem. Yeah, because this is a system, I believe players will thrive when they are the right profile. And for me, I think Valentin Barco is the right profile. Now he's off the ball duty. He's a hard worker, yeah, and hard worker is a thing for Argentines. When you look at Argentines, they are never lazy players. I think it's genetic. They bring it. Just being Argentine just gives you that vibe that you know this guy is going to be an hard worker. And I think another country also share that thing. I think it's Portugal. Portugal also share that thing. They are very not the strongest in bone, but they are engines. They are engines. They work like their life depend on it. And I think Argentina also does the same thing. So when you look at Valentin Barco, you just know. When you look at his heat map, you look at a guy who is running all around and covering ground and doing all of those things. And you see how you see how he runs around. When you watch him as Strasbourg, he's a guy who jumps into tackle. His timing, when as a defender, one of his key attributes is stepping forward. He looks at sorry about that. He beats a player, make sure gives him the vibe like he's not going to get the ball, and then when the pass is coming, he runs ahead, steal the ball, and then he moves on up front. And I think he brings a whole lot. One of the deficiencies to find the balance point is to look at his deficiencies in his game. Aerially, I think he's not there because of his height. He's not a tall player. And secondly, if you are playing him as a deep line playmaker or one of the number 6, and if he's becoming the part of the second number 6 or the first number 6, who is the first phase receiver, I think there are deficiencies to his game in that part of the game because he's left-footed. And he's not the Messi, Kopama style of flexible player. When he gets the ball and he's still turning his back to the opponent's play, when he gets the ball, because he's left-footed, he has the natural orientation to turn inside. And as much as that is good, it gives you space to be able to quickly see what is going on and then start distributing passes. Because the Premier League is very, very fast, if they start to notice that is your pattern of play and you are majorly dominant in that pattern, they will just bait you into making sure that you do that thing and they steal the ball. Because you are the first phase receiver, all you have behind you will just be maybe 2 players or 3 players and the goalkeeper. So I think he needs to work on that part on being able to go outside and being able to come inside, like so that when the ball comes, the opponents cannot predict where he will go from the 2 sides. But what I have seen with him is when he gets the ball, because he's left-footed, it's just naturally easy for him to come inside. And then when he does that, if somebody is coming from this side, they just steal the ball. And because he's going to be in the central channel, they receive the ball and they are going into our box straight up, and that turnover can lead to goal because it's in the central channel. You don't want to be losing the ball in those kind of areas. So I think those are majorly two of his deficiencies that I have seen so far. I think as we watch him at Chelsea, I think those are we'll begin to see a whole lot of those kind of things. But generally, I think he's a good player. I think he can become better and become very, very much better at the club. Yeah. So